What's going on, everybody? Johnny Dollar here, and you're listening to the Local Lick Show, brought to you by Todd's Mudjacking and Basement Services in Silvis, Illinois. Get back on level ground. How's everybody doing on this Saturday afternoon? Clouds are rolling in, but don't worry about that. We've got some great live music from the one and only Angela Meyer. Angela, hello.
Hello.
Now, you're a friend of the station. You've been on here several times.
Yes. You're a new face, though.
And yes, I know. I was just going to say that of all these times you've been on, this is the first time we've actually met.
Yeah.
So hello again.
Yes.
Glad
so good to see you.
Yeah, glad that you can make it. And I'm sure most of the listening audience are familiar, but, you know, how long has it been since you've last been on here?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. Maybe like 6 months. I mean, it's been a while. Everything crazy for sure.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. But for those new listeners out there, or any listeners that have bad memories like me, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Angela Meyer. I'm from McCausland, Iowa, other side of the mighty Mississippi. And I've been playing professionally full-time for 2 years, doing it for 10, I guess, professionally, but always had side jobs, and really started doing it a couple years ago as my real job. And yeah, I play country music, travel all around. I do a bunch of cowboy poetry gatherings, Western music, Texas, Oklahoma, Montana, New Mexico, New York, all over. So.
All right. Now you're telling me all these things, all these places you've been, and off air you were talking about some live performances you were doing via the internet, Zoom or whatever.
Live, yeah.
How has that been as an artist?
Yeah.
Doing this for as long as you have, and then all of a sudden I guess it's a two-part question. What's it been like with everything going on, and what's it like doing it live without an audience in front of you?
Yeah. Well, I think it's really pointed out that we do this like selfishly to have that interaction with people. I don't play music to play music for the dust bunnies in my corner. Like,
right, yeah.
You really miss having people there. The audience gives back so much to you. Being able to play their favorite song, hear their reactions, talk to them, tell them stories, hear them laugh, see them fall down drunk, whatever it is.
Right,
you have this whole experience, and we've missed so much of that, not being able to be in person. But it's also been this really cool thing of like learning how to do your job outside of your main source of income, which is, I don't know, a fun challenge now to be creative, and to really step back and put an emphasis on the music and the parts you can do in writing, and kind of being this like recluse and just being in your room again and writing songs and having nowhere to go. So it's kind of a good challenge. I mean, we can hate it or not, but it's here. So yeah, that's really how it's been. It's been crazy, but good.
Well, that's good. And have you been doing anything live lately? Some things have opened up. Have you been able to do anything live with an audience?
I was out at Judy's Barge Inn last night in Buffalo, Iowa.
Okay, yeah.
Tomorrow I'm somewhere, Mississippi Brew, Muscatine. So it's starting to get back to venues again. For a while, I was doing neighborhood concerts, which is really fun. And so I did one in Davenport, and people are like on their patios. They're like peeking out their kitchen window and sitting socially distanced and, hanging out with the neighbors, which was really cool too. I had people that were like, this has been the best part of quarantine.
Would you consider that would be a new thing, a new trend going forward in the entire live performance?
I hope so. I really hope so, because I think it brings people together, and it's a great chance for the musicians to be more on a personal level with people, and they're more relaxed. They're in their homes. We don't have to worry about anybody driving home. It's fun. It was really fun.
Awesome. Well, let's hear something from you. What do you got for us?
Let's see. What do we want to start with? I'm going to do, this is a song I wrote that's off my album Consequence, which you guys can find everywhere. iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, all the good stuff.
All right.
This is called Dirty Habits. drive too fast on gravel roads. You see right fly out your back window. Going nowhere with no time constraint. You blow the speaker so you tap those brakes. You got a dirty mouth and a filthy mind, but God knows your heart is gold. And you leave me here looking now for that gypsy heart of yours. You smoke, you drink, you love, you leave, move faster than the sun. If you go, I'll go. If you promise me someday our time will come. You and me are touch and go. Speed it up to take it slow. It's been a while, but funny how we pick up right where we left off. You got a dirty mouth and a filthy mind, but God knows your heart is gold. And you'll leave me here looking now for that gypsy heart of yours. You smoke, you drink, you love, you leave, move faster than the sun. If you go, I'll go. If you promise me someday our time will come. Love's the last thing on your mind, but I hope to change that with time. You're hard to learn, hard to lose. You got a lot of dirty habits, I think mine could be you. You smoke, you drink, you love, you leave, move faster than the sun. If you go, I'll go. If you promise me someday our time will come.
Right. Beautiful.
Thank you.
That is I would say a fan favorite. A lot of people love that song,
It is,
myself
yes,
included.
Yes.
Speaking of songs and songwritings, with this pandemic going on, have you spent any of that time coming up with anything new, or are you just
Yes.
waiting for something?
I mean, I did the classic country songwriter thing of like I wrote a song called Quarantine, so I feel like that's top of the list, check mark. But yeah, I try to be as creative as possible, but it's also this stressful time of like, yeah, you did just lose your job. Like, how are you going to make a living now? So there's that balance of like still allowing yourself to be human and go through this process. And then there's a balance of, okay, but let's talk about it because everybody's going through this. So I would be really remiss as a country artist to not, put that into words.
And in the community, the country music community, have you guys been collaborating, or have you had any type of support from anybody else, or giving support to anybody in need, or how's that been in the community?
It's difficult because like we are the ones in need. So I've had a lot of people reach out like, will you donate this, donate that? And it's like, right now it's not possible. Musicians and the restaurant industry are probably hit the hardest out of everyone financially,
right.
And it's rough. It's like the rug's pulled out from underneath you. But, just being there as moral support for people. I've had a lot of deep conversations with musicians, and like, I think we're getting back to why we really love to do this. Cause it's a lot of late nights. It's a lot of miles on the road. It's a lot of people don't get what you're doing. And so it's a good chance to step back and really look at it for what it is and think about the parts that you miss, and then get back to really appreciating that when you can do it again.
So like rediscovering everything all over again.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. Now I do want to talk about your guitar, because I know we got some musicians out there.
Yeah.
And I'm an amateur. I have a Strat that's sitting at home collecting dust. It's probably got about a couple inches of dust on it. But what do you got there? It's a beautiful guitar.
Yeah, this is Gibson Songwriter. And I'm not a guitar person other than 3 chords. But it's always been a dream of mine to own a Gibson. And so when I started doing this for reals, I went out and bought a Gibson. And, I named her Elle after Ellis Kell, if anybody remembers Ellis Kell.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. And so her name is Elle, and she's been to a lot of places.
Yeah. So do you have several, or is that your one and only?
I'm not really a collector, just because I'm not a person that if I have an hour, I'm going to sit down and play guitar. That's just not who I am. But I have a couple of my grandma and grandpa's vintage guitars that I I have a vintage Gibson from them, like a 50s model. And then, let's see, the other one, it might be a Martin. I'm not sure off the top of my head. But yeah, like I have a couple of those that I love for sentimental reasons more than they're cool, but they also look awesome.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
A 50s, yeah. That is awesome.
Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's see here. It's about 12:12. You're listening to the Local Lick Show with Johnny Dollar here. And the Local Lick Show is brought to you by Todd's Mudjacking and Basement Services in Silvis, Illinois. Get back on level ground. Call 309-792-0252. And we are broadcasting live from the Rhythm City Casino Studios here in downtown Erie, Illinois. And I am joined with Angela Meyer, station favorite, and almost a resident.
I think I have a cot in the corner.
Yeah, it's over there. You got yours and somebody else's too. Let's see here. What was I almost forgot what I was going to talk about. Well, I tell you what, we're going to. Can we get another song out of you?
Let's do it.
Okay, we'll do one song, and then we're going to hear from our remote guys here in a little bit. So what do you got for us?
All right. So I'm going to play a song. Since we talked about traveling, I'm going to play one called Texas and Tennessee.
All right.
They both got dreams too big for this town, just starting out, trying to make a name for themselves, being pulled different ways, swore that things will never change, but they're changing now. They've been running side by side, parallel like headlights, but they hit a crossroads tonight. At the red light in that one-stop town, they could never look back or turn around. His blue-eyed sea memory swore you never leave. Now he's headed southbound, she's headed eastbound to Texas and Tennessee. Over his shoulder in the back, he's got a suitcase she swore to help unpack. But those city lights called her name, the only dream she couldn't shake, and he wouldn't dare take that. In one last rude attempt, she said, "Come with me." But that big sky was calling, and he was going. At the red light in that one-stop town, they could never look back or turn around. His blue-eyed sea memory swore he'd never leave. Now he's headed southbound, she's headed eastbound to Texas and Tennessee. At the red light in that one-stop town, they could never look back or turn around. His blue-eyed sea memory swore he'd never leave. He said, "Baby, there's no Texas without Tennessee." And home, home is wherever you will be.
Angela, very beautiful. Thank you so much. And perfect timing, too. We're going to take a commercial break. We're going to go to Taz here in just a from the Rhythm City Casino Studios here in downtown Erie, Illinois. And I have Angela Meyer in studio. Angela, hello. How are you?
Hello. I'm so good. How are you?
Good, good. And I wanted to ask you, what does Angela do when she's not playing, when she's not performing? What does she do on her downtime?
I mean, being a musician is kind of like looking at an iceberg, and like the very top of it is when you see me out live, and then the rest of it happens when I'm at home. So I would say 60 hours a week. That's what I'm doing. I also ride horses. I teach yoga. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I love to run. Love to hang out with my dogs. One of my dogs has puppies right now.
Oh.
They're incredibly cute. Very time consuming.
And what kind of dog?
Healers. She's a red healer.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right. And you have horses too?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many horses do you have?
I just have one, and then my boyfriend's family has a bucking bull business, and so they have ranch horses with the bulls to help.
All right.
Yeah.
So you don't mind getting down and dirty and helping
Yeah.
out? That's
No,
good.
absolutely
All right.
not.
All right.
Yeah.
Good. And what is on your playlist? If we were to go on your phone, and I don't know what
gosh.
service you have, what do you listen to?
I'm a Spotify girl.
Okay. Now, would
Yeah.
we have any? Would you have anything that we would be surprised by, or is it pretty standard fare?
I mean, I like everything. I think people are surprised by that because I play so much like older country. They think I'm kind of like snobby when it comes to like I don't listen to a ton of newer country, but like Beyonce, like I love a ton of rap songs. I love classic rock. I love going on to Spotify's World Discover playlist and just playing like the top 50 on a chart from South Africa or Brazil, or like I love random stuff like that. As long as it feels authentic and it feels like somebody tried to make it, then I like it.
Yeah, that's a good point because you're talking about modern country. You don't listen to it too much. A lot of the modern pop music and country and really whatever you want to call it, it seems like it's processed and it's kind of lost its soul.
Yeah.
You know, and it could be any type of music, really.
Yeah.
And you're right. You know, it's the music that it comes from the heart. That it sounds like somebody took the time to go from start to finish. You know, you can definitely hear that.
Yeah, you should hear somebody's soul when you listen to their music. And I think a lot of times people are worried about making it commercial and palatable, and so we water it down so much to make sure everybody can take a little taste of it. And that's just not my gig.
Yeah, on the way here, I was listening to the radio, just flipping through the stations, and you know, I'm listening to a song, and I think to myself, well, what made this song, you know, get airplay and not this song, even though they might sound the same? It's just, you know, as a non-musician, really, it just boggles my mind how some things can get through and stuff like that. Are you on any type of social media?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Those are the two big ones that I use. I'm also on TikTok, which is new. I don't know if you're a TikTok user.
No, I'm old.
Yeah, that's how I feel on the platform as well. The average person is like 18 on there, and it's just, that's not me. But it's fun. It's very funny, but you also spend like 2 hours going down a rabbit hole, and you're like, oh my gosh, I probably should be doing something productive. So that's a great one too. But on Instagram and Facebook, I'm just under my name, Angela Meyer. And then there's a 23 at the end of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as a musician, how do you set yourself apart from somebody else? Is it through your music? Is it through branding? How do you do it?
Yeah, for me, I've had the most success of being nice to people and caring and being professional. And that sets me apart in a big way that I thought it never would, because I thought that was just expected. It's not the norm. And of course, having good material helps too.
Yeah, you've definitely got it all, I think.
Yeah, I try. It's a lot. But you know, you have to be the whole package, or people don't see you as an artist and they don't care about your art. So you have to be a good person.
Take yourself seriously.
Yeah, otherwise people see through that. If I come out here with an act, people see through it. So you just have to figure out who you are, do it on purpose, as Dolly Parton would say.
Oh, there you go. And let's listen to exactly who Angela Meyer is. Do you have a song for us?
Yeah. This is called Wishing Well, and it has a lot to do with what we're talking about, so perfect.
All right.
My last name isn't famous for the cows or corn it raises. I grew up with neighbors on each side. But I've got pride for my country, a cowboy who loves me. It took time to learn his way of life. And maybe I was born the wrong place, the wrong time, chasing a dream not meant to be mine. I've been underestimated, overlooked and calculated as a risk they won't take. And they'll say you're doing fine, kid, never stop trying. But from what I can tell, I've been tossing pennies in an empty wishing well. The machine likes to take in high dollar fabrication and pretty words with shallow truths. What happened to the grit? Hard times ain't hard when your daddy can buy your way out of them. And they fear the cowboys to die and breed when this all the ones trying not to be. Underestimated, overlooked and calculated is a risk they won't take. And they'll say you're doing fine, kid, never stop trying. But from what I can tell, I've been tossing pennies in an empty wishing well. Maybe I was born the wrong place, the wrong time. I'll be damned if I don't even try. I've been underestimated, overlooked and calculated is a risk they won't take. And they'll say you're doing fine, kid, never stop trying. But from what I can tell, I've been tossing pennies in an empty wishing well.
That is Angela Meyer right here on the Local Lick Show, brought to you by Todd's Mudjacking. Excellent song.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, and I'm not a musician, so all these artists that come in, you know, I'm just like fascinated by what they do and how they do it, you know, even though they might not think it's, you know, a big deal because they've been doing it a long time or whatever. And you said you've been doing about, what, 10 years performing? Mm-hmm. Do you remember the first time you actually got up in front of a crowd?
Yeah.
A paid gig?
Paid gig, yes. The first time I was in front of a crowd, I was like 7, and I sang Concrete Angel by Martina McBride, which is a very sad song, and that was at church. And I remember people being like, is this an appropriate song for this little girl to sing? And at that point, as a 7-year-old, I was like, I want to be authentic. I want to make people uncomfortable. I want them to question. I want to make real music. But I didn't get my first paid gig until I was 16. And that was at the River Music Experience downstairs when they had Mojo's, the coffee house. Yes. And I opened for a band from Chicago. And all of my friends came to see me and then left for this other band. And then they like wanted my dad to run sound for them. It was like a whole, I will never forget that night. But it was a great time. I mean, my part went really well.
Well, that's good. That's the important part.
I hope there's still a band.
Yeah. That's another thing too. You know, it's a lot of people come and go. Bands get together, and
oh yeah.
Do you enjoy being on your own? I mean, you ever play with anybody else?
There's times when I'm like last night, I'm packing up my equipment, and somebody's like, "Where's your, your roadies?" I'm like, "You're looking at them." So it's like it gets old to be the person that's like, I do everything from answer emails to sometimes take my own photography with a timer to playing and writing and everything. So there is that want for collaboration there. I don't know if I've found the right people yet that I could full time like go on the road with and tour. But country's hard around here. I feel like there's a lot of it, but not enough to like that there's surplus where people are looking for stuff. So if you're out there and you're like, hey, this sounds like we would be a fit, shoot me a message. Really.
There you go. And how can we get a hold of you?
Through Facebook. That's the easiest way. That's me on the other end of that. So.
And I like that too because emailed somebody. He was the president and CEO of Intellivision, the video game company, because I did an interview for my other show. And I sent an email, and I wrote it out assuming that somebody else would read it and then possibly, maybe, hopefully
pass it
along to him. And a few days later, I got an email back from the president and CEO himself. And I was like, wow. So, yeah, that's great to hear. And you were talking about earlier, you want to be authentic. You want to be, nice. You want to be the person. You want to be that person to set yourself apart.
Yeah.
And when somebody wants to reach out to you, that's great that they're actually talking to you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a whole experience from front end to back end. And I take my clients, my customers, however you want to think about them. On one side, I have my people that listen to me. So those are also customers, right? They're buying my music. But then you have on the other end of that, the venue owners, the promoters, the booking agents, so it's kind of everyone is your customer. So you're always on your toes of PR, be nice, do this. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of customers, I'm sure there's some people out there listening right now. How can they go buy some of your music?
Yeah. So the best way is to go to my website, angelameyer23.com. You can buy a CD and I will ship it to your house signed. I usually include a little note in there too. If you're not a physical CD person, Spotify, Google Play, iTunes. iTunes is the best because, then you actually buy it. But streaming is cool too.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll have more with Angela Meyer. You are listening to the Local Lick Show, brought to you by Todd's Mud Jacking and Basement Services. Get back on level ground at 3. From the Rhythm City Casino Studios here, Johnny Dollar behind the mic, and Angela Meyer is with us. Angela, hello.
Hello.
Angela is a musician from Iowa. Where at again?
McCausland.
McCausland. Yes,
if you blink, you'll miss it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that before. Well, tell me a little bit about what, I don't want to say influences, but have you evolved over time? I know you were talking about when you first sang at the church, you wanted to make people feel whatever it would be.
Yeah.
When you started from your first live performance at 16 to where you're at now, have you evolved any, or have you just pretty much stayed the course and it just worked out, or what's going on?
I'd say it's more of like fine tuning. Like I feel like I'm the same person as then to the core, but seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, and just being less afraid and less needing permission. I definitely was like waiting for somebody to be like, it's okay, you can do this. And I didn't need that. And I wish I wouldn't have waited for that. But it's a learning experience.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you got another song for us?
I do, yeah. So we were talking about good old quarantine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard of that.
So this is my song called Quarantine. So this is just going out to anybody that's just grinding right now, trying to do the darn thing and keep your head above water. This one is for you. It's called Quarantine. We ain't had a day this pretty, with no chill in the wind, and it ain't blowing higher than the speed limit. It's a small town between the bar and the mechanic shop. They can fix whatever's got you stuck, but they're closed now. Some of us been hit a little harder, scraping by on our last dollars. The bills, they never seem to wait quite as easy as getting paid. So I know it's just a quarantine, but for some of us, it's life changing. There's an old man with a sideways glance, judging the paint can in a younger hand. And they said necessity, son. He turns and leaves, but his words, they hang heavy. And that can of pain took the place of a bottle in his hand. He can't see the light or a way out just a quarantine, but it's heavy. The isolating. I'm just a singer, writing my own story, hoping to bring a smile back to your face. And just for a minute, we can forget it. Remember the things that made us hope for better days.
Oh, beautiful. Excellent.
Thank you.
And speaking of quarantine and better days, how as a musician do you feel the future is going to be near term? I'm sure things are going to get better eventually, but in the near future, how does it look?
I think a lot's going to change, but I'm hoping that we're all just slowing down, spending time with our families, even if you want to kill them, just spend time with them. And just being, it's going to be the hippie in me coming out, but just being more grateful and slowing down and making sure we're doing things right and loving each other well and communicating and getting to know each other better. That's what I hope for the near future anyways. But I think my industry is certainly going to change for a long time, probably, as far as big concerts, festivals, that kind of stuff. Who knows? But I'm hopeful that we'll get back to it.
Now, do you have anything coming up, like I might have read it wrong, but are you going to be at the Mississippi Valley Fair?
I am going to be at the fair. So to my understanding, a lot of the local acts will be on the main stage, which is really cool. I don't know. So my show's during the fair during the day. So I'm not sure if they're just going to be running music all day on that. I have no idea, but I will be at the fair. 2 days. I'm like slowly trying to flip to the page of the fair. Thursday and Sunday of Fair Week, I will be there.
Okay, well, there you go, folks.
Yeah.
Thursday and Sunday. Sure, all these other bands aren't going to be there, but come on, Angela Meyer's going to be there.
No Keith Urban, but I'll be there.
All right. Well, that's fair enough. That's a pretty good trade. All right. Well, we're going to take a commercial break here, and when we come back, we'll have more with Angela. So stick around. This is the Local Lick Show, brought to you by Todd's Mudjacking and Basement Services. Get back on level ground with Todd's Mudjacking. And Angela, hello. And how are we doing today?
So good.
Good. Well, are you ready for another song?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get right to it.
All right. This is called Consequence. There's ash marks on the front porch step between the whiskey and cigarettes. I may burn the place down yet. He borrowed my truck and stole my horse. That SOB must wanted to force. When I showed up there last, seen him with her. So I got back on the highway, headed one road south. And sure enough, my mare's tied at the trailer with his boots outside her house. Annie Oakley always said, don't be afraid to love a man, but don't be afraid to shoot one either. It feels like a waste of a 10-cent bullet, but a more of a waste of a damn good woman. With his gun, it'll look like an accident. Whoops, actions come with consequence. Sleepy town sure gets around, and even if she leaves him now, there's a dozen more to take her place. I caught him slipping off that ring inside the pocket of his jeans. Lies are not so happy-handed. Annie Should have tell her to go to hell or just go home. But my finger on the trigger gives me a say where he goes. And he always said, don't be afraid to love a man, but don't be afraid to shoot one either. It feels like a waste of a 10-cent bullet, but more of a waste of a damn good woman. With this gun, it'll look like an accident. Whoops. Actions come with consequence.
That's Angela Meyer with Consequence right here on the Local Lick Show. And for those that are just tuning in, maybe, when's your next performance?
So tomorrow from 4 to 7, I'll be at Mississippi Brew in Muscatine. That'll be the next time.
Awesome. And are you going to still be doing any more live, online concerts?
Yeah. They're more like sporadic. I don't have anything set right now, but I'm online all the time. So people will definitely catch photos and quirky stories and probably some puppy pictures too. So
all right, that's good. We kind of need puppy pictures.
There's the incentive.
Yeah, there you go. In these times, we need puppy pictures.
Yes.
That is awesome. All right. Well, want to do another one?
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's see. I'm going to end with, this is a newer song of mine. I don't think I've ever played it here.
All right.
So let's do it.
Radio first.
Radio first. This is called Wild West Show. And there's a gun in my bed near the memory of an empty bottle. You're imprisoned by the past and choices you had no part in. You held that gun to your daddy through the door the last time he came. For your brothers, you get along now. Mama says it's just a part of growing up. I hope you learn to protect yourself. I hope you learn to respect yourself. 'Cause baby, bullets and fist fights harden the heart, they don't make you strong. I hope you never get pity for bruises she brought upon herself. Throwing soap-filled burlap out of her mouth. But also see a snake hiding in a hole, begging a heart to come and level the playing field. Leave your lives in the soil. From dust we came, into dust we shall return. It don't have to be a gunfight. Quit trying to make a Wild West show. You can stand your ground, just remember that she owns it. I'm trying to love her heart so guarded it leaves mine broken. And there's a new sheriff in this 1880 landscape. He knocked that cardboard backdrop to the ground with a turquoise 380. But also see a snake hiding in a hole, begging a heart to come and level the playing field. Leave your lives in the soil. From dust we came, into dust we shall return. It don't have to be a gunfight. Quit trying to make a Wild West There's a gun by her bed near the memory of an empty bottle.
Angela Meyer, folks, and that song again was
Wild West Show.
All right, you heard it here, folks. First, right here on the Local Lick Show. Angela, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's been a while since the Local Lick Show's had a live performance, and you're the first one in quite a while.
Woo-hoo.
So, yeah, there you go. We're getting back into the swing of things. And before we let you go, one more time, where can we find you online?
Angela Meyer 23 on Facebook or Instagram, or angelameyer23.com.
All right, there you go, folks. Check her out. And you'll be hearing from Angela from time to time. She'll be coming in, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
All right, and we'll definitely be playing her like we do because we love having her here and we love her music. So, yeah. Well, you have a good one.
Thank you.
Good luck, and I hope to see you soon.
Yes.
All right. Well, you're listening to the Local Lick Show right here on Vintage Radio.